me a pain in the neck the way she acts. But just the same, I'm sorry for Lewis. He thinks she's the greatest thing on the lake, and he can't say, Coho, I love you, and that's what she is waiting to hear. Why, this is terrible news, said the cob. News of the most serious import. I know what it is like to be in love. Well do I remember how painful love can be, how exciting, and in the event of unsuccess, how disappointing and doleful the days and nights. But I am Lewis's father. I'm not going to take this situation lying down. I shall act. Lewis is a trumpeter Swan, most noblest of all the waterfowl. He is gay. That means happy, cheerful and strong, powerful, lusty, good, brave, handsome, reliable, trustworthy, a great flyer, a tremendous swimmer, fearless, patient, loyal, true, ambitious, desirous. Just a minute, said his wife. You don't need to tell me all these things. The point is, what are you going to do to help Lewis get himself a mate? I'm leading up to that in my own graceful way, replied the cob. You say that what this young female wants is to hear Lewis say, Coho, I love you? That's right. Then she shall hear it, exclaimed the cob. There are devices made by men, horns, trumpets, musical instruments of all sorts. These devices are capable of producing sounds similar to the wild sound of our trumpeting. I shall begin a search for such a device, and if I have to go to the ends of the earth to find a trumpet for our young son, I shall find it at last and bring it home to Lewis. Well, if I may make a suggestion, said his wife, don't go to the ends of the earth. Go to Billings, Montana. It's nearer. Very well, I will try Billings. I shall look for a trumpet in Billings. And now, without further ado, I go. There's no time to lose. Springtime doesn't last forever. Love is fleeting. Every minute counts. I'm leaving this instant for Billings, Montana. A great city teeming with life and with objects made by man. Goodbye, my love. I shall return. What are you going to use for money? Asked his practical wife. Trumpets cost money. Leave that to me, replied the cob, and with that he took off into the air. He climbed steeply, like a jet plane, then leveled off, flying high and fast towards the northeast. His wife watched him until he was out of sight. What a swan, she murmured. I just hope he knows what he's doing. Chapter 9. The Trumpet. As the cob flew towards Billings on his powerful white wings, all sorts of troublesome thoughts whirled in his head. The cob had never gone looking for a trumpet before. He had no money to pay for a trumpet. He feared he might arrive after the shops had closed for the day. He realized that in the whole continent of North America he was undoubtedly the only trumpeter Swan who was on his way to a city to get a trumpet. This is a queer adventure, he said to himself, yet it is a noble quest. I will do anything to help my son Lewis, even if I run into real trouble. Towards the end of the afternoon, the cob looked ahead and in the distance saw the churches and factories and shops and homes of Billings. He decided to act quickly and boldly. He circled the city once, looking for a music store. Suddenly he spied one. It had a very big wide window, solid glass. The cob flew lower and circled so he could get a better look. He gazed into the store. He saw a drum painted gold. He saw a fancy guitar with an electric cord. He saw a small piano. He saw banjos, horns, violins, mandolins, cymbals, saxophones, marambaphones, never heard of those, cellos, and many other instruments. Then he saw what he wanted. He saw a brass trumpet hanging by a red cord. Now is my time to act, he said to himself. Now is my moment for risking everything on the one bold move, however shocking it may be to my sensibilities, however offensive it may be to the laws that govern the lives of men. Here I go. May good luck go with me. Uh-oh. With that, the old cob set his wings for a dive. He aimed straight at the big window. He held his neck straight and stiff, waiting for the crash. He dove swiftly and hit the window going full speed. The glass broke. The noise was terrific. The whole store shook. Musical instruments fell to the floor. Glass flew everywhere. A salesgirl fainted. The cob felt a twinge of pain as a jagged piece of broken glass cut into his shoulder, but he grabbed the trumpet in his bank, turned sharply in the air, flew back through the hole in the window, and began climbing fast over the roofs of Billings. A few drops of blood fell to the ground below. His shoulder hurt, but he had succeeded in getting what he had come for. Held firmly in his its red cord dangling, was a beautiful brass trumpet. You can imagine the noise in the music store when the cob crashed through the window. At the moment the glass broke, one of the clerks was showing a bass drum to a customer. When the clerk was so startled at seeing a big white bird come flying through the window, he hit the drum a tremendous wallop. Bum went the drum. Crash went the splinters of flying glass. When the salesgirl fainted, she fell against the keys of the piano. Went the piano. The owner of the store grabbed his shotgun, which went off by mistake, blasting a hole in the ceiling and sending down a shower of plaster. Everything was flying around and falling and making noise. Bomb went the drum, plunk went the banjo, went the piano, went the bullfiddle. Help! Screamed a clerk. We've been robbed! If you ask me, this woman looks a little old to be a salesgirl. Make way, shouted the owner. He ran for the door, stepped outside, and fired another shot. Bang! At the disappearing bird. His shot was too late. The cob was safe in the sky beyond the range of gunfire. He was headed home, towards the southwest, high above the roofs and spires of Billings. In his beak was the trumpet. In his heart was the pain of having committed a crime. I have robbed a store, he said to himself. I have become a thief. What a miserable fate for a bird of my excellent character and ideals. Why did I do this? What led me to commit this awful crime? My past life has been blameless, a model of good behavior and correct conduct. I am by nature law-abiding. Why did I do this? Then the answer came to him as he flew steadily on through the evening sky. I did it to help my son. I did it for love of my son Louis. Back in Billings, the news spread rapidly. This was the first time a Swan had broken into a music store and made off with a trumpet. A lot of people refused to believe it had happened. The editor of the newspaper sent a reporter to the store to look around. The reporter interviewed the owner and wrote an article about the event for the paper. The article was headed, Large Bird Breaks into Music Store. White Swan crashes through window and makes off with valuable trumpet. Everybody in Billings bought a copy of the paper and read it all about the extraordinary event. It was talked about all over town. Some people believed it. Others said it never could have happened. They said the store owner had just invented it to get some publicity for his store. But the clerks in the store agreed that it had really happened. They pointed to the drops of blood on the floor. The police came to look over the damage, which was estimated at $900. The police promised they would try to find the thief and arrest him, but the police were sorry to hear that the thief was a bird. Birds are a special problem, they said. Birds are hard to deal with. Yes, they sure are. Back at the Red Rock Lakes, Louis's mother waited anxiously for her husband to return. When he showed up in the night sky, she saw that he had a trumpet with him. It was slung around his neck by its cord. Well, she said as he glided to a stop in the water. I see you made it. I did, my dear, said the cob. I traveled fast and far, and sacrificed my honor, and I have returned. Where is Louis? I want to give him his trumpet right away. He's over there sitting on a muskrat house, dreaming about that empty-headed young female he's so crazy about. The cob swam over to his son and made a presentation speech. Louis, he said, I have been on a journey to the haunts of men. I visited a great city teeming with life and commerce. Whilst there, I picked up a gift for you, which I now bestow upon you with my love and my blessing. Here, Louis, is a trumpet. It will be your voice, a substitute for the voice God failed to give you. Learn to blow it, Louis. Life will be smoother and richer and gayer for you. That means happier. With the help of this horn, you will be able to at last to say coho, like every other swan. The sound of music will be in our ears. You will be able to attract the attention of desirable young females. Master this trumpet, and you will be able to play love songs for them, filling them with ardor and surprise and longing. I hope it will bring you happiness, Louis, and a new and better life. I procured it at some personal sacrifice to myself and my pride, but we won't go into that now. The long and short of it is, I had no money. I took the trumpet without paying for it. This was deplorable, but the important thing is that you learn to play the instrument. So saying, the cob removed the trumpet from around his neck and hung it up on Louis, alongside the slate and the white chalk pencil. Wear it in good health, he said. Blow it in happiness. Make the woods and the hills and the marshes echo with the sounds of your youthful desire. Louis wanted to thank his father, but he was unable to say a word, and he knew it would do no good to write thank you on the slate because his father wouldn't be able to read it, never having had an education. So Louis just bobbed his head and wagged his tail and fluttered his wings. The cob knew by these signs that he had found favor in the sight of his son, and that the gift of a trumpet was acceptable. To be continued.